website right now and download my free course on alternate picking mastery. It contains 5 essential exercises that will take you to alternate picking mastery faster than you can imagine. And then I've included my method of how to lay out a practice plan in just 1 to 2 minutes that will absolutely boost your results like nothing you ever tried before. So go download it right now. It's free. Hey, there has to be a better way than, practicing over and over and over again, sitting in front of the TV, repeating the same freaking pattern like thousands and thousands of times. That's boring. And then waiting for that someday I'll get to the point where I can suddenly master everything, 5 or 6 years, because there are so many things I have to do that with, so even if I learn one thing, then there'll be a ton of other things that just in front of me that I have to learn. It takes forever, but it doesn't take forever. And I have to say this again. And you have to freaking listen, sorry. But I'm actually referring to a question here. But you have to listen to me. And I can't help you if you don't. If you keep insisting on being hopeless and frustrated, then I can't help you, because then that's what you want. You want that nice, warm feeling of just being the victim of the world. And then there's no hope for you. Absolutely not. Then you want that more than you actually want to master this instrument. So listen, please. Mastery, which is taking one thing all the way to the top, is what makes you break out of eternal mediocrity, of eternal intermediateness. Most people never, get beyond being intermediate because they never take anything to the point of mastery, because they don't think they can, because they think that's for the pros. Because our self-image is like, oh, I'm playing guitar, but I'm not like those guys. Yes, you are. You just don't know yet. You have to prove yourself wrong in that assumption. And we all have that assumption. And so what do you do to break out of that? Well, you focus on mastery. You repeat something that many times. You take one small loop and repeat it 2 chords, 3 notes, 6 notes, and then you obsess about them. And I really mean that. That you measure it, your speed level, you practice it slow, you do everything, you take it to the TV, and then you actually get results. And if you don't get results, that's because you're not doing what I just said. You imagine that you're doing it, but you're not. You're not putting in those thousands of repetitions on something very small. What happens when you do that is that you engage in exponential growth instead of straight line growth. And straight line growth really doesn't get you anywhere. It's just like you build every day for half an hour. You practice 15 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes every day. You don't really focus on what you're doing. You're basically playing songs and playing over jam tracks. And so you don't really develop. It's just like, and you're not going anywhere. You need intensity in your practice schedule. You need to take those 3 hours in front of the TV each night for a week, taking 6 hours out on a Saturday or a Sunday, and then perhaps not practicing any the next week, right? So we need to have intensity, and we need to have focus on small things, and we need to hammer away at them so we break out. It's like being in a bubble, and then you take out a hammer and a chisel, and you just on one point, and you hammer away at it so many times that you break just a little hole in the bubble, and then the whole thing comes down, right? And that's how you get exponential growth, because you work at it. And it's like watching the grass grow. Totally, it is. But if you imagine exponential growth to be a straight line growth, because the curves goes 1 + 1 is 2, 2 + 2 is 4, 4 + 4 is 8, 8 to 16 to 32. You double it each time, right? That's what happens when you focus on mastery. But because first you have to learn the freaking first 3 notes at the point of mastery, and it takes forever, or so it seems. And you imagine that little growth, go to Google, look up exponential growth graph, and then look at it. If you imagine that curve to go straight up, you're going to say, okay, this is going to take me 20 years, 30 years, right? Because you're just moving like this, just a small, like a plane taking off, right? And it just looks like nothing. And if you take that curve out into the future, you're going to be just close to 350 years old before you reach the point of mastery with everything you do. But that's not how it works. You have to stop whining and get down to practicing and having focus and really putting in the effort. And then I promise you, you will break through that bubble and suddenly the curve will go whoom and you go straight up because, 128 times 2 times 2 times 2, suddenly you explode. And that's why the guys on the top level seem like they're just light years ahead of you. They're not. Because if you look at the curve, they just reach that point where everything just becomes easier. But if you don't obsess, and everyone who's really good at something technical or musical, they obsessed about it long enough, but they didn't think of it necessarily as a long walk in the desert. Because building every single result is pleasurable if you're getting results. If you're not getting results, it's not pleasurable, right? And then you constantly have to remind yourself that your monkey brain, your caveman brain, is going to tell you that this takes forever. So let's take on everything at once. Let's learn everything. Let's practice chords and let's do long strings of chords because we have to take on as much as we possibly can, which will absolutely keep you in that mediocre place. If you focus on mastery, you will break out. And your caveman brain is going to tell you you're not. So you're going to have doubt in that system or in that strategy forever until it works, right? So you have to be the one that thinks, right, that intelligently and says, we're going to stick with this. If I'm going to take these 6 notes on 2 notes, and I'm going to practice them to the point of absolute world-class mastery, or I'm going to die trying. I will not go quietly into the night. I shall never surrender, right? That's the attitude, not the, this is boring. How is it boring watching sitcoms as you do unconscious, repetitive patterns? How is that boring? Then watch a more exciting video or movie, right? And then just continue, and then get interested in what would happen if I watched 4 hours of TV playing the same freaking 3 notes, picking patterns, chords, whatever it is that you're practicing, every single day for 4 hours each night. And I sat there. What would happen? Measure yourself. See the results. Use the freaking principles, right? Measure so you know what's going on. And then get the results, feel the results, and then, make sure that you don't tell yourself the stupid victim stories of this is going to take 20 to 30 years, because it never does when you focus on mastery. I can promise you that it never takes 20 to 30 years. It never takes 20 to 30 years. Never. Because if that's your mindset, you're never going to get there. Never. Because you're going to stay, just practicing songs, whatever, right? You're never going to focus, right? So you're never, ever going to suddenly develop in any severe or serious way. So either you get there by focusing on mastery, by taking something all the way, and then you engage in exponential growth, which is like, looking at the grass grow. It really is. But you have to trust that those people are not talented. They just engaged in the right mechanisms or the right strategies and methods. And they often did that unconsciously because they were just so passionate, so fired up about learning this. So they couldn't not do it. So they were practicing while they were eating, while they're watching movies, like talking to friends. Will you get that instrument out of your hands? It's annoying talking to you when you're always playing, right? People like that. But you can do the same thing. You don't have to be that crazy. You can do, as an intelligent person, you can have a job and obligations, but then you can use the same principles and get to the same place. I'm just, I can just keep on talking because I so want you to get that this is absolutely possible for anyone if you engage the right principles. And stay out because it's pleasurable to be, this is hard. That's pleasurable. We think it's, this is not play. I'm frustrated now. I feel, but it is. It's like, this is hard. This is, right? That's the emotion we have. We become like children again. And we call for help. Mommy, come and help me. This is hard. But she's not coming. You're an adult. Take charge. Focus, right? Get results.
Subscribe for more free videos. Do it. Do it now. Do it.